Hey traders, welcome back. It's Thursday, April 24th. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Just wanted to make this quick video today to talk about what a very nearly perfect day looks like. And it's something that you don't often see. And so when you do see it, you definitely need to take advantage of it, because with the way things have been lately, there's been so much crazy up and down action. It seems like every single day, the action just basically looks like that when you go from, open to close. Today, we basically had a completely solid upwards trajectory, which is something that has not happened in a little bit here. There's been days, like individual days over the past few weeks that have been mostly green, but today was for sure an outlier in the recent developments of how things have been. And so I hope that you were able to spot that and take advantage of it. I did today. Let's see, today I made $2,157 just trading IWM, which tracks the Russell 2000. So it's the small cap. The SPY is, large cap. NASDAQ is basically tech focused. And then IWM is small cap stocks. And so that's what I was trading today. I actually got into some of the contracts in this position yesterday. And yesterday I was losing money on my contracts. And as I've often said on this channel, there will be plenty of days where I'll open up a position thinking that one thing is going to happen and it doesn't happen in the time frame that I think it will happen. But as long as you have a little bit of time until your expiry, you can hang out. And, if you think that your initial suspicion was correct and you have the time to do it and you're not getting hammered too hard, you can hold your position open longer with the thought that it's going to turn around on you. And that's what I did yesterday. So Monday, I had a really good day. Monday was about a $2,300 day for me. Tuesday was not good. I actually lost a few $100s on Tuesday. Yesterday, I had an unrealized loss of, I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't a huge unrealized loss, but it was an unrealized loss. And then that takes us into today, because I held my positions open till today and actually added right away in the morning, because as soon as the market opened up today, what I thought was going to happen was I thought we were going to take off. And for the sake of not making this video, too long, I don't want to get into the specifics, but basically just paying attention to the news developments and what happened overnight and the 200 EMA more specifically. That's what made me think that as soon as we opened up, we were going to rip today. And we basically did. It fell for the first 3 minutes of the day. And so then for a very short period of time in the afternoon, for about 20 minutes or so, we fell out a little bit. But for the most part, it was just all green today. And, there's a number of different reasons for this, but we're not going to get into that. We're only going to talk about how it relates to the chart and just how simple you can make this if you don't overcomplicate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a screen share here in a second and talk about it with an image of the price action today. But basically, long story short, price action overnight, right before the open on IWM, price crossed above the 200 EMA. It had a low point of about 188.66 around a half hour before the open. And then just a few minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes before the open, we actually broke above the 200 EMA. And then 3 minutes in, we basically bounced off of the 200 EMA, and then it just rocketed up pretty much all day long. There was a little period in the later afternoon where it plateaued a little bit, but that certainly didn't scare me because it was, it's not like it came up and then fell out real hard. It came up very strongly and then it just sort of plateaued, but it never really fell out with the exception of those few minutes that I was just talking about. But certainly nothing that was making me scared that we were going to lose the gains that we had achieved early on in the day. And so the point of this video is to just hammer home the strategy of when you get in, you just get in at the right levels. Make sure you are identifying a level, a valid support or resistance level. And then if price touches that level or breaks above a certain level and keeps going, take that ride. Don't be afraid to just jump on the train and ride it as much as you can get out of it. And if you look at the action today, I mean, we basically never got anywhere close to being in danger, in my opinion, except for that one really small little chunk of the afternoon. But by that point, I had already gotten out basically all of my position. I had a few contracts left, and I'm going to put up a shot right now of my actual ins and outs for the day. So you can see how I got in really, really quickly. Basically the minute we opened up, I got in on almost all of my calls for IWM today. And then I just closed them out one by one all throughout the day. And this is pretty much how you want your chart to look as far as seeing your price increase with each and every closing order that you do. So you want to get in low and you want to sell high. Whether you're going long or short doesn't change things. It doesn't change the fact that you want to buy for a low price and sell for a high price. And what you want, if you're doing things correctly, is you want to just identify all of those moments throughout the day when price has made a nice, juicy jump in the last minute or whenever you're looking at the chart. And then you want to close your contract right there. And as you can see right here, I'm going to highlight it. I'm basically every single exit that I had is higher than the one right before it. I think there's one where I had 1 cent less than my previous exit. But for the most part, every single exit, we're making even more money on each exit. And what this does for you is it not only guarantees that you're locking in a profit with each consecutive sale, with each time you're closing a contract, but also that means that you're still leaving yourself open for the possibility of even larger gains as time goes on when price is moving in your favor. So, the other possible way that you could trade it is you could say, well, I'm just going to keep all of my positions open and I'm going to wait for a particular level and then I'm going to close all of them at that level. And that can definitely work for you. I'm not saying that that doesn't work. That can absolutely work. But you're opening yourself up to a little bit more risk when you do that because until you close anything, whether you're making a profit or whether you're experiencing a loss, until you actually close the position, everything you've got is unrealized. So if you've got this nice unrealized profit and you think, okay, cool, I want to just, let it ride. Let's let it ride. I'm going to make more money and more money and more money and more money. You see this big, fat, unrealized profit. And then suddenly some crazy news happens, which, as we all know, has been happening basically every single day. Suddenly you get this giant red candle and your unrealized profit that you just had a minute ago has basically evaporated. That's absolutely what you do not want to happen. And so by sort of systematically closing out contracts as the price is going in your favor, what you're doing is you're locking in profits every time you close a position, yet at the same time, you're still leaving certain positions open so that as long as the trend continues in your direction, you're going to be making even more money on the remaining contracts that you still have open. Okay, so here we are taking a look at IWM from today. This tracks the Russell 2000. And yeah, basically it's pretty self-explanatory what we're looking at, honestly. I mean, it's just straight up and to the right, which is what you want to see if you're going long. And so basically what I was looking at before we opened up today, focus your attention to this light gray area right before the line, and then this dark black background is where we actually opened up. So I saw price come and bounce off of the 50. This light blue line is the 50 EMA. The gray line is the 100 EMA. And then the thick white line is the 200 EMA. Now, this 200 EMA is the most important one that I'm always looking at. So this is sort of like the real big picture EMA that I'm paying attention to let me know whether I want to go long or short. And you know, there's always exceptions to every rule, but the rule is basically that I always stay on the right side of the 200 EMA. And what that means is when price is above the 200 EMA, I'm pretty much only looking for opportunities to go long, unless I'm looking for a specific moment where I expect that we're going to break down. And then if price is below the 200 EMA, I'm usually only looking for opportunities to go short unless there is a certain thing I expect to happen that's I'm thinking is going to make price break above the 200 EMA. But, you know, 95% of the time, I'm always trading on the right side of the 200 EMA. So when we opened up, right before we opened up, we saw that we bounced off of the 50 right here just a few minutes before the open and came up. And essentially what I thought was going to happen is I thought that this right here was going to happen and, you know, this happened, but not a big deal because the first couple of minutes of the day, it can usually get a little bit chaotic and, you know, unexpected things can happen. But turns out that we actually bounced right off the 200. So I certainly wasn't freaking out in the first couple minutes. I just waited, watched it bounce off the 200 EMA. And then especially with this giant green candle right here, when this happened, I thought to myself, okay, I was totally correct. And it's going to be a nice big green day. And from that moment, you know, if you got in here or like this would have been a good place to get in. If you wanted to be even a little bit more cautious, then right here would have been a good place to get in for sure. So, you know, what you want is you just want to see the trend going in your direction. I mean, it's super obvious. And so like when we're looking at trends here, you see here's our low right here. You see right over here, we're making a higher low. We're making a higher low once again. And so right here, we've got our high. We're making a higher high right here. We're making a higher high right here. Making a higher high here. Higher high again. Higher high again. And then even though we retraced a little bit right here, you've got this low, this sort of temporary low. That's a little bit lower than that low. You shouldn't freak out because, I mean, this is the 100 EMA. I'm not going to start really getting scared until price breaks below the 200 EMA. So right here, I started to really pay attention thinking, you know, should I just close out my remaining few contracts right here? But I waited. Once again, we bounced off of the 200 EMA, came up, and I got out of my last contract for the day just a couple of minutes before the close. Now, one thing that I definitely need to mention when you're thinking about this strategy of like a sort of all day long approach to trading as opposed to a more scalpy style of trading is that you definitely need to be paying attention to it at all times. I mean, in this market right now, the way the things have been going, you can't just walk away and leave something unattended. You have to really have your alerts set, and you need to be able to be focused on your trades the whole day in order for this to really work. Because not only do you want to take advantage of every, big push, like right here, this little area right here, this little area right here. Every time that you see, over here, every time you see these really nice, juicy green candles, either individually or in groups, you definitely need to be focused in to close your positions one at a time on those. But then you also need to keep your eyes open just so that you don't, so that you're not like left holding the bag if suddenly somebody makes another comment that just makes the bottom fall out of the market. And, that can easily happen. These days, anybody can say anything at any time during the trading day that can either make the market fly through the roof or crash through the floor. You just never know. And because you never know, and because it can happen at any minute of any day, you need to always be very locked into your trades from the minute that you open it up until the minute that you close out the last position. And so, like most days, I like to do all my trading relatively quickly, like for sure within the first hour. But today I had a very strong feeling that the entire day was going to be green and that the strength was going to continue throughout the whole day. And because I had such a strong conviction that the day would turn out the way that it did, I was okay with leaving more of my position open for longer and, just letting it play out, thinking that we're going to just continue to rise throughout the whole day. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, when you see something like this is definitely a gift. So whenever you see a day like this happen, make sure you take advantage of it if you're day trading. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about, today, the action that we saw, and sort of stress to you that when you do see something happen like today, it's really a gift, especially in these times. Like when a day like today happens, it's a gift, and you need to be able to jump in with a large size when you get that sort of a gift. And I know that lately I've been talking about how I've been keeping things really small. And I have been, most days I'm trading real small, but yesterday and today, with what I saw happening in the pre-market, and then, after the third minute of the day, I said, this is going to be a very, very strong day, and I'm going to take full advantage of it. And so I did. Last but not least, I wanted to give a real quick shout out to one of my very best students. He asked to be anonymous, to be kept anonymous, so I'm honoring that request. But basically, this guy wrote me, and he said that lately he's been green the last 20 out of 23 days. And so this is a really awesome thing, obviously, and I'm very proud of him for, being able to stay green 20 out of 23 days. That's really awesome. And, anybody can do that. You just need to know what you're doing, learn a strategy, follow the strategy, have faith in the strategy. And as long as you follow the rules of the strategy, you can make it work for you too. So yeah, that's it for today. See you guys soon whenever there's another thing to talk about. And until then, hope you're all having a green week and continue to have some good trading tomorrow and into next week. So until next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.